Hi, my name is Robert and I came from care for neglect and abuse, and this is my story. My earliest childhood memory was when I was 5 years old in my first foster house. I picked up a cat and I threw it because it scratched me. I went to my first foster home when I was 2 years old, even though I don't remember it, and my parents then adopted me and my two sisters. My first foster home, I don't have very many memories because I only went there from when I was 2, but the ones I do remember was my mother was not around as much. She always worked, she rarely slept at the house. My father and I were really close. We usually went out four-wheeling. He sometimes took me when he went hunting. Me and him went out gardening sometimes. We had a fun time. Yes, the foster home did adopt me when I was like 2 or 3. The Christmas was sometimes very fun. My grandmother at the time, my dad's mom, sometimes stayed at the house every once in a while and gave us some presents. We had about 10 presents to each kid. Sometimes I got fishing poles, sometimes I got four-wheeler gear or something like that. The siblings that I was adopted with, they are very nice siblings. The younger one, sometimes me and her got into like typical sibling clashes, and the older one usually teaches the smart one. And the third one, I don't remember where she went. She eventually, I believe, became the cousin of me and my sisters through adoption. But the memories I do remember was me playing video games with my when I was adopted, they already had kids of their own. The oldest, the boy, their boy, and I usually played video games without four-wheeling, hunting. Me and their daughter sometimes went out shopping, finding stuff to do, probably went out to dinner a couple times. Most of my struggles in my first couple of years of whenever I started school was at school, very little at home. Usually I would end up having cops called on me. I was in a special ed classroom all the time. I banged my head on walls and stuff. I wasn't being very adult or very immature even for that age. When I was 8, my father passed away, and I was really close to him, and I felt really sad about it. The day of his death, the morning I went to school, got up, got dressed, got on the bus, like normal. Halfway through the day, my older brother, their son, came up and picked me and my sisters up from the school, took us home, and everyone was crying. I wasn't, because I didn't know what was going on. We got home. My mother, who I thought shouldn't have had the chance, shouldn't have the authority to tell me because she wasn't around enough, told me, said, "Hey, your father's dead." And I started crying. I yelled at her saying it was her fault, she blamed me a bunch of times too. But I felt like it was partially my fault for the longest time. Then eventually I realized it wasn't my fault, and I got over it, but at the day, I was really hurt, really scared. a Baptist one, I sat in a room playing with my sisters and their daughter's kids, and then whenever it began, we were sitting in there. And I don't remember much of it, but I do remember whenever they asked for any people to stand up and speak, I stood up and spoke. Shortly after my dad's funeral, like a year, I give it a year, my mother decided my behavior was too much, gave me back to state, said she can't take me back. She was giving up on me, kinda like, hey, I can't do this no more, is what she thought. Me alone was given to the state, not my sisters. For about a couple of years, I didn't have any contact with them. I rarely saw them. I went from placement to placement. I went into two different foster homes before I came to the one I'm at now. I was at 7 different placements, and that was a hard time moving around like that. Eventually went to Good Sam's for about a year. The first time. When I was 10, I ended up at a placement called the Good Samaritan Boys Ranch here in Springfield, Missouri. It was hard on me because I was younger, smaller than any of the other boys. Couldn't do as much because I was pre-diabetic. Couldn't run as much. They put me on a strict diet, and because of the meds I had on, that didn't help. Some of the staff was mean to me because I wasn't as athletic as the others, and they were hard on me because of that, and some others were nice to me. The first time I was there, I turned 12. I turned 13 there, and after that was 3 years, and for quite a while I was stuck in my room a lot because of my behaviors. I kept on getting in fights, getting in restraints, anything you could probably name it. The way my dad's death affected me in residential, because most people didn't. I felt like they weren't really helping me as much because I was not really paying attention to it. So it was really hard on me to follow directions when I was feeling hurt, lost, scared. I didn't have very many people there that I felt like that would stand by me and help me very much. And then whenever I was having behaviors, I was locked in my room 24/7 by the end of my stay. Like close towards the end of my stay, I had a same-sex couple that came to started meeting me. We played games, had nice visits. They sometimes bring food. On our very first visit, we sat in one of the rooms in a room and played a game called Risk. I, of course, being a little stupid kid I was, cheated and was making up rules because I didn't exactly follow them at that age. And whenever our first day passed, we went out to dinner at a place called Ocean's End, one of my favorite ocean food places. The 2 gentlemen that I met at the Good Samaritan Boys Ranch are still in my life today. They adopted me at 15, and as of today, I still live with them. And as far as I know, I haven't met any other foster family like them. They're probably one of the best. Whenever I transferred from Good Samaritan Boys Ranch into the home of my parents, the two gentlemen, it was a highlight because I wasn't always locked in a room. I wasn't always in trouble. Yeah, I had the thing called honeymoon stage for a little bit, but that quickly passed, like a few days later. And my parents even said that we were thinking possibly, like, we weren't expecting this, like, holy cow. Because as far as I know, I was their first foster kid ever. And that was a great experience for me to get through that, because now I understand what most people would do if I was with other people. They'd probably throw me out or something like that. Back to state. I had most of the same behaviors, and for a few years. And even though I did that, they still stood by me. Even when I got locked up, they still took me back when I was done with the program and everything. So whenever I eventually started stopping some of the things, my stay started improving because I started following rules, doing better. Eventually got a phone because I was doing so well, but I sometimes I used to like fall back down that track, get locked up again, do some bad stuff. My family, I have a hard time with loving relationships with even friends, because I suffer something called RAD, reactive attachment disorder. It has something to do with all relationships. And if you guys are wondering, do I still love my parents? Hell yeah, I still love my parents. They're great. I wouldn't leave them for the world if I wasn't angry. I would say my life, my behaviors have improved greatly since my first foster home. Since my first day here, after like a couple of months, we started getting more kids. Eventually got up to 10. My relationship with my family is really good, and we get along usually. Sometimes we have our ups and downs, like like we were born siblings together. And I feel like it's a family. I'm actually part of the family again. My family, the kids in my house, range from 1 year old to 21, and about to be 22. Most of them are adopted. We are in the process of adopting 5 more. I feel like we are meant to be a family, because otherwise we wouldn't have been in this house. When I was younger, up until the date of my dad's death, I did not like being at school, because I liked being at home with my dad. I liked having fun times with him. I didn't like school because I didn't know if he was going to die or not. But whenever he died, my grades started improving, my school started improving, but my behaviors at home, it was like a switch. It flipped. I started getting locked up, split, stuff like that. I got sent to places like Lakeland, Cox South, a couple times.
Robert, you recently just became an adult, and so tell me how foster care and adoption has affected you as an adult.
Foster care has affected me badly as an adult, because I'm used to trash bags when I move. I'm used to getting yelled at when I'm locked up. I'm used to getting thrown around when I was younger. like I was ragdoll, like, hey, you're going here, hey, you're going here, here, whatever. Sometimes, and then whenever I got adopted, most of that stopped. I always had a home. I always was able to come back and stay here at my family's house. If I could tell my bio sisters any message right now, I would say that I miss them, I love them, and I hope they do great. If there's a kid watching right now, to help you and give you some advice, one thing I would tell you right now is do your best and listen to your counselors and your parents that you're with. They probably can help you with a lot. And if you're in a really low spot like I was, here's one thing. Look through it, not at it. By saying that, I mean look through it to like see the ending of the good ending, not at the bad situation you're in right now. The best thing I ever got from the foster care system is always had a bed, always had food, always had clothes on my back. That was better than nothing. Truthfully, I wouldn't want to be homeless at all. Since I'm an adult, in the future I'm probably going to end up getting married. When I have a family, foster or bio or whatever, I'm going to go by the rule, blood isn't everything. You don't have to be a blood child to the parents that you're in their house to be loved the same as their own. You could be whatever, wherever you're from, they could still love you. And blood doesn't, if you're not a blood child to the parents you're living with, that doesn't change anything. My name is Robert, and that was my